I'm Ryan Grimm. I'm joined here by Alex Emmons, national security correspondent for The Intercept, who covered last night's vote on the FISA reauthorization. This was a vote to end debate on the Senate bill. They needed 60 senators to get over the finish line to take them into the kind of fait accompli section of the Senate's business, and they got precisely 60 votes. This is the bill that reauthorizes the kind of well-known NSA surveillance authorities that were first exposed by The Intercept's Jim Risen, and then later in more detail by Edward Snowden. So last night you had 18 Democrats and one independent who caucuses with Democrats, Angus King, vote for the bill. So Alex, did it look like it was going to be in doubt at any point?
Yes, it was very close, and in fact, the bill only passed by one, or the measure only passed by one vote, which was extraordinary. It means that any of the 19 Democrats that voted to expand these sweeping surveillance authorities and extend them under the Trump administration, any one of them could have switched their vote, and then we'd have a lot more debate and substantive discussion. So the Senate would be talking about amendments that would bring in more judicial protections for these authorities, but instead they just enough of them defected that they just shut down all that discussion.
And when people talk about the system being rigged, it's things like this that they point at, because you had Chuck Schumer, the Senate Democratic leader, plus all of the 2020 presidential hopefuls vote against this. But here you have a Senate Democratic leader who stunningly can't keep together his party and loses 19 of the 49 members of his caucus. It almost suggests that he didn't try to keep them all together, because if he did, it would have been enough. It would have been enough to kill them. Very quickly, what does this bill do?
So to really understand the surveillance authorities we're talking about, you have to go back to the aftermath of 9/11, the Bush administration. And what the Bush administration did in the panic after 9/11 is that they started this emergency wiretapping program where they were essentially wiretapping all of Americans' transnational communications between Americans and foreigners. At the time, that was illegal, and when it was exposed, Congress responded robustly by legalizing it, and Congress has continued to legalize it ever since. And so this bill essentially extends those surveillance authorities for another 6 years, and it allows the FBI to use the data how it sees fit, searching it for ordinary criminal investigations and going around the normal procedure where they'd have to get a warrant.
And it also goes back to the criticism that a lot of people had of Edward Snowden. Why didn't you just go to Congress? Why did you have to leak this stuff publicly? Why not just take it to the Intelligence Committee? The Intelligence Committee already knew this stuff. A lot of the rest of the Senate didn't, and as we learned last night, even those that learned it from Edward Snowden and saw that the public was outraged about it, there are still enough of them to approve it, even when you have kind of a Klan-adjacent attorney general who now has this expanded authority to do backdoor searches on American citizens, and a president that many of them have called mentally unstable in the last couple of weeks. The final vote is supposed to take place Thursday morning. Unless there's some type of miracle, it looks like Donald Trump is going to get expanded surveillance authorities.